Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Bronze Reaper podcast. I'm your host, Rosalind Perkins, and I apologize for the late, start. I had to go get my son and stuff, and yeah, it's just a whole lot of, whole lot of everything. But we made it, you know. Today we're gonna jump in back into a conversation we had probably, I want to say, almost a year ago. The reason why I want to jump back into it because I personally believe, and I have said this multiple times. Give me a second, because I'm still getting everything started. I still even pour my fucking cup of coffee. Um, but Pan African Psyop plan for the Black American community. I think that question is very important because give me a second. This I always tell people all the time, one bad mistake can last you 20 years, 10 years. It could last you a lifetime. And I'm not going to say all Pan-African movements are bad, but a lot of them are. I'm going to be personally honest. I haven't met a Pan-African community that, accepts or even says that, what, Black Americans is their own people. They do say that they have African DNA, but they are a whole new brand of people, just like the Cape Verdeans, just like the Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, Haitians. They're a whole new different aura. So give me a second. Where's my remote? Jesus Christ. Oh yeah. Well, getting started and stuff like that. And I was still getting dressed. Like, oh my god, I was doing a lot today. But also happy belated Father's Days to people, and even the motherfuckers whose fathers don't, even the fucking kids that don't fuck with you, happy Father's Day. But I hope everybody's seen the new Juneteenth Bronze Reaper logo. I hope you like it. I personally wanted to do that for y'all, so I was thinking about next year for Juneteenth having like a little section and selling my shirts for Juneteenth. You know, it's great promotion, but also it's like I said, it's just great to see the work that the Black Americans in the community are doing. So I do like that. So yeah, low quality image. you know um but yeah, definitely I like it. I think it's a great thing when oh, this is a good one right here. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a great thing to see. And actually, when I was at Juneteenth, it was great to just see people, just having a good time, just as Black American, because I know a lot of people see worse of us. So it's I hope everybody did go to Juneteenth in their state. I know it was Africanized, but there's a reason why. I was thinking about doing actually a two-part topic questions for this, and one will be, why does Africans reject Pan-Africanism while American well why does Africans reject Pan-African movement or the organization? So I'm definitely leading into a two-part question. I'm thinking about taking Tuesday off because I'm only gonna be doing shows 4 days a week. So not five, because it's not that I have been struggling on it, but it's just like I said, it's I want to leave room for marketing. So I hope y'all won't be mad about that. It's just, I wanna evolve this channel for everybody, you know. But let's get into a few hold on, got my coffee. Let's get into a few live chat, see what y'all talking about, what's going on, Dorsey? Salute, salute, salute. It appears, yeah, it appears to be that. I don't think. Let me tell you what really fucked it up. That Rick Charles shit. When I don't want to say it, but I have to. It seems like Asians were glorifying a little kid getting shot. There were some people. There are some people that for example, there are some people that'll be like, yo, they gave a pushback like, yo, this shit ain't right. We gotta call these people out on the bullshit and stuff like that. And salute to those people who are Asian that does do that. But as I always say, a lot of these people do see the fucked up part about that whole situation. So yeah, shout out to the Asians that are standing on business and saying that shit is wrong. It would have been great if they would have said that shit in the '90s when little girl got shot by them Koreans in California and they burnt down fucking Watts. I'm gonna say this: Watts wouldn't be burnt the fuck down if the Asian community would have done that. Dorsey out here talking about golden poop. What's going on, FBA Convo? Salute, salute. What's going on, Charlie Shaw? Salute, salute. Uh, Asians threaten violence against us for not going into their stores. You hurt their pockets. Yeah, yeah. Like Dorsey, this is why I always say, you know what? If you really want to hurt somebody, you hurt their pockets, especially whites and Asians. The reason why whites, because like, say this, you get beat up by the fucking cops. If you start suing and you win your cases and stuff, and it starts a chain of reactions, this is what happens. They lose a lot of money. Then they're gonna have to go back to the drawing boards. Like, yo, we got to do some shit. We got to do something so we can stop being sued because everything. America is a corporation. We all know that it's a corporation. It can't be a corporation if they're losing money, especially with the 13% of Black Americans that live in America. So yeah, there's a problem. Asians, the way how they make money is, you know, communities. What's the word? The word is customer service. That's how they make money. Customer service. If you're not giving the best customer service, you lose money because it goes to another store. So yeah. And also too, I gotta tell Black community too, when you get a chance, you can't take advantage of your people. I have seen it. And I know that's not everybody, but the people who are doing it and who are trying to make real money, you can't take advantage of the people who you giving customer service to. So yeah, that's what happens. Like, you got to understand too, there's so many, fucking Asian stores where you can lose a lot of fucking money. Just like the Africans felt that fire when they was like, oh yo, you're not braiding my hair. I'm gonna go to somewhere else. I might even go to the fucking meters to despite you. So it's what you expect. Thank you, Charlie Shaw. Thank you for the Happy Father's Day thing. Did you notice the Africans and the Caribbeans are now Pan Africans, but only the ones over here lying as you? Yeah, I see that, Charlie Shaw. Because it benefits them. They understand now it benefits them. When black, this is what I don't get, and I tell Africans this all the time. Why didn't y'all do this shit in the 90s? When black Americans was wearing the fucking kufis and the fucking dashikis and you know the red, black, and green and shit and the African medallions. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? Now you're doing it because you need help. You're doing it because you need help. And I'm gonna say this: they're in a very bad position right now, where they got to think like, yo, what should I do? The gravy train has drove off without them. Let's see. Yeah, I see that. Target is trying to tarnish the holiday. Yeah, Target is always trying to do some fuckery. I'm not surprised, Dorsey. That's why they get backlashes from everybody. Give me a second, everybody. I gotta tuck my shirt in my pants. Uh, it just doesn't fit right. And we're gonna do a quick show today, so don't mind me. We'll probably be gone in Eastern time by like 1:30, 1:15, 1:40. You know, give me a second. That's my kid. Yeah, my son just got mad. His tablet died. But yeah, yeah, they're always doing that in Target. Target's always doing some fuckery. Let's see. CIA, FBI, production, rally around the red, white, and blue. Um, you know why do Shabaka? Red, white, and blue is because black Americans is the only Americans technically. The black and the red natives, if you really want to be serious, are the realest are the only Americans. Everybody else is immigrants. Even though they're Serbian Indians, they they um they were influenced, they was inspired by the black natives that were already here. So yeah, we are red, white, and blue. And that's the Juneteenth colors. I can't get mad that it's the Juneteenth colors, man. One thing I gotta tell you, Shabaka, you can't be hating like that. Red, black, and green is fucking Irish colors. So like, what are we talking about? So yeah. Let's see. Did you notice that there were a lot of FBAs at the festival? Yeah, absolutely. Last year it was a lot. It was really Africanized. I hate saying that. Give me a second. I gotta fix this. For some reason, like some reason I don't be liking my camera. Yeah. So for some reason I don't be liking my cameras and stuff. So yeah, don't mind me. But yeah, last year was a lot of Africanized because I went to the meeting and there was this organization. They were trying to bring back the shit that like it defend Black Americans, people of freemen. It's called the Children. Was it the Sisters and Brothers of Freemen or something like that? I forgot what it was. But yo, they were getting busy. They were actually putting feet to ground, and they were explaining that, like, yeah, that's cool about Africa, but that this is Juneteenth. They were explaining what Juneteenth is about, and shout out to those those homies and stuff like that. So yeah. So Bronze, you talking about selling out? You got sponsors now? No, not yet. I didn't get sponsors yet. I'm trying to get sponsors. I'll say this: having sponsors doesn't mean that you're selling out. When things are supposed to happen, it's about business. But at the end of the day, you still put your foot in the door for other Black Americans. I was always taught that. Yeah, you might be corporate, but if you bring in other Black Americans in, there's no problem with that. You know, everybody does that except us. We always have to go by some fucking moral code. It's like, put it this way, Dorsey. If I and I know you're joking, don't worry. let's say um let's say I got into a corporation at like JP Morgan's. Then after that, I was like, I'll tell the CEO, oh, I know somebody who can do this spot. His name is Dorsey. I get you into the doors. Then after that, you work 6 to 8 months, you get another Black man in the door. Then that other Black man get another Black man in the door. Then at the end of the day, it's a chain reaction of um, Black power. I mean, Black excellence. Black excellence and stuff. And at the end of the day, we're not going to stay there forever. We're going to start our own shit. But this is just a stepping stone. Sometimes you have to take a sponsor to understand how the game is work. It's not really taking a loss. It's like it's taking it's like fucking a course that you get paid for. So yeah, if sponsor is selling out, and I don't think it's selling out. I think it's just like, it's like a course for me. It's a job that we have to do that got the door, got the pictures, okay. Yeah, so yeah, it's a yeah, it's just a course to me. Until I get my own shit where I get my own money and where I can put my own chips up. You know, I can, but if I can have somebody else pay for my shit, fuck it, might as well have somebody pay for your own shit. And I'm personally looking for Black American companies. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to look for the Black American companies, but it's so hard to get in reach with them. Like I tried 40 Acres and the Mule with fucking Spike Lee, no answer. Tyler Perry, no answer. Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler. You know, like it's hard. It's not easy, but I didn't expect it to be easy. So yeah, I'm just trying to get my feet in the door, basically. Hello, a bunch of Haitians had a Juneteenth cookout, waving nothing, Caribbean flags. Yeah, Charlie Shaw, I'm not surprised. Fucking foreigners do that shit all the time, man. Um, and let me tell you what I think it is. Like they always hide themselves under the blackness. Like we all black. Then after that, when they win some shit, they want to bring out their fucking flags. It's like them wearing a mask and they're taking off the mask and saying, "Surprise, I'm fucking Jamaican. I'm not really Black American." And shout out to the Jamaicans. That's how it is. So I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised either, Charlie Shaw. They've been doing that shit forever. We shouldn't be doing that. All of that shit. Bronze going corporate. He said I'm going corporate. FBA Colombo. He said FBA Colombo. That was actually a good show. Was you supposed to say Columbus or Colombo? Colombo was a detective, Shabaka. If you didn't know that, Dorsey, he's looking for designer sponsorship. I hope y'all like the logo. Definitely hit the likes on the logos and stuff like that. I'm thinking about doing that for every like event or holiday. Um, change it up and stuff. And it's just for logos. And sooner or later, who knows? I might put out t-shirts and shirts and sweaters and shit. Who knows? It's gonna be dope, man. It's just a new idea I'm trying right now. But Dorsey, I hope did you like the logo though? Uh, Now Trump must pay Iranians reparations. They're not paying them reparations. They're just letting them. They're just unfreezing the bank account. Shabaka, what the fuck are you talking? These fucking Pan Africans, man. You're always trying to gaslight somebody, Shabaka. Swisher Sweet's got him as a spokesperson. I don't smoke, but it'll be cool if I could sponsor Swisher Sweets. You know, he be dropping bombs, though. My wife be dying when he says, "I'm just being personally honest." Zigzag's offering him a lucrative package. Shout out to Dorsey. Dorsey's getting busy. No reparations, all lies. Yeah, he's lying fresh as always. Shout out to you too, man. Let me open up this joint so it can be easy so I can go control a lot of stuff. Okay, cool. Um but yeah, Africans is in growth and developing now the ones Oduno Chief Africans always no has always been with us. What's garbage? So Shabaka, I'm gonna have to call you out on this question right here, everybody. I have to call Shabaka out. Shabaka, last show you was just talking shit about Juneteenth. Now we're all now we're all a big fucking family, according to you. You got to cut that shit out, Shabaka. You can't be doing that. That's not a strike, but you can't be trying to trauma bond with niggas. We don't need trauma bonding. We've been telling you about Juneteenth and stuff. Y'all been shitting on Juneteenth. You've been shitting on Juneteenth. So now you want to be all friends and Garvey train. Fuck Garvey. Garvey ain't worth a fucking box of cookies, nigga. Yeah, that's his trademark statement. I am being personally honest. I'm being personally honest. Um, Africans and Caribbeans festival time. It's time for unity and organizing. Yeah, it is African and Caribbean festival, and I think it's Dominican festival too. But I'm not going. I'm not going, Shabaka. Every time there's a Caribbean festival, somebody gets shot, especially in Boston. That's why I stopped going. I'm just being personally honest. That's I do say that a lot. Yeah, yeah, you are right. Ray, was it Ray who said that? Oh, Dorsey, you are right. I am just being personally honest. Yeah, yeah. It's because you know why I say it because it's like people always think I'm lying when I say crazy shit. Like, and it be true. It's like I was telling there was this little girl at my job yesterday and she works with me. She was explaining that, oh yeah, you African. I was like, I know I'm African, but I'm an admixture of other things. I'm not. I said, why are you always trying to add? Then you fucked up and said I don't got a culture. I was like, what do you mean? I say my culture. You are wearing my culture. You are talking my culture. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, how I don't got a culture and you are imitating my culture. Oh, I don't mean it that way. I was like, yo, you imitate my culture. What are you talking about? You just got to put people in their place and let them understand that, like, yeah, we are the flavor. We are the ends all bees all. So yeah. Bronx got that daddy look on his face. Somebody got to babysit. Now my son is straight. You just give him a tablet, let him watch TV and shit like that. He's good for like 3-4 hours until he falls asleep. Like my kids ain't bad. Like my kids should be in fucking ABA right now. But he's not bad. But yeah, he be getting his shit on, fuck it, I was worse, so, and I didn't even have fucking autism. I was just a bad fucking kid, and I was very, what's the word? I explored a lot, jumping over shit. Hey, what does this do? I remember one day I stick the fucking pencil inside a fucking electric socket and shocked myself because I wanted to know what it was gonna do. It was on some stupid shit, So uh, I was worse. Blacks in America was right here during the slave. Not all of us. Shabaka, red, white, and blue is the color of the slave masters. Juneteenth will always be Africanized. We are African. But you just said blacks in America. What are you? Shabaka. Rewrite this question. Rewrite this chat over again. I'm not getting what you say. Simplify it for me. Dumb it down for me. I'm not getting what you're saying. Thank you. Okay. Say something bad about Coca Cola. They used to put cocaine in it. That's bad. That's why everybody was addicted, and that was what was said. The cocoa leaf, yeah. It's nah, nigga. They drug test. J.P. Morgan has a murderous history. Yeah, but I was just So Dorsey, what I was doing when I was talking about J.P. Morgan, I was using a hypothetical for you because I know y'all like hypotheticals. That's all, man. Let's see. The FBA is nothing but sellouts. They are the voice of Donald Trump and the white Christian nationalists. A lot of us ain't Christian, Shabaka. Christianity is a white supremacist. It's a slave. It's a slave religion, if you ask me. Christianity. I don't think Jesus Christ was Christian. He was Hebrew. He was Jewish. You know. Um, but yeah. I'm just kidding with you. Get your bag. Salute. They Jay Z. He got pulled. Yeah, I'm a. You want to be honest? I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I think Jay Z's going broke. If you go to Target, my nigga, you might be going broke. Target, Dancing with the Stars, fucking Vlad, you probably going broke, my nigga. Vlad only paid like 5 G's. So, and some people deserve 5 G's. Shout out to Vlad, but, Vlad is kind of cheap. Vlad didn't start really paying people until like he started seeing people get paid, so yeah. He was telling people what their worth was, and that's where he fucked up at. Then got mad when. That's why I probably would never. If I were ever famous, I would probably never do Vlad. All jokes aside, I probably would never do Vlad, and it's not that he's a fucking Oscar Nazi. No, it's just because I don't give a fuck if you're Oscar Nazi. If you believe in that bullshit, you believe in it. I don't believe in it. I just believe they're white. They're white people, and you know what? They got million. I'm gonna say this: white people. I mean, I don't. I don't want. I know I'm gonna piss off a lot of white folks, but the real white people are fucking the small hats. Those are the real white people. You know. Let's personally be honest. That's what white people are supposed to be. They're supposed to have this type of power that the small hats have. These white people be bitching, they be moaning, they always need help, they always need a handout. Like white people can't do shit by themselves, you know. Okay, I'll read that after. But yeah, it's small hats is the real white people, and white people and no, the small hats is they're the real white people, but they're the black people of white people. If you understand that. And the reason why, because white, when you say white, it's a status. It's technically a status, you know. Like the Queen of England is white. Donald Trump is white. Leo Cohen's is white. The Rothschilds are white. The reason why is because of their status and wealth. Most of y'all other white folks is just broke. Y'all just broke. And you're the bottom of the barrel type of white people. You know, Robert Kraft is white. You know, all y'all broke white people, y'all are the Mexicans of white people. You are the niggas that nobody like. I'm just being personally honest. You look at the Rothschilds, the fucking Rockefellers, the king, the royal family, Donald Trump. Those are real white people, and it's not. I'm not trying to shit on nobody, but y'all, most of y'all broke ass white people and the niggas who be bitching and moaning like the claviculars, y'all are the Mexicans of white people. Y'all are the niggas that nobody likes. You're the niggas that you're the ones that try to fit in with whiteness. How about that? You know, you're the ones that shouldn't be telling us what is whiteness, what is white pride. So and I'm not trying to shit on y'all, but it's the small hats are the real white people. That's why I say that. And shout out to the small hats because they get busy out here. Do they cause a lot of harm? That's up for discussion. That's a discussion that we should have on Rumble so we don't get in trouble. And cuz I know how y'all talk, I don't give a fuck. That's it's not my people, but yeah. There are the Mexican of white people is these poor white trash people, the Caucasians, y'all are Mexicans. But let's go on because we're about to start the show. Donald Trump is giving FBI. You already said that, Shabaka. They're not giving them 40 acres in the mule. They're just opening up back. They're just open back up their accounts because Donald Trump, I believe, froze their accounts, so they couldn't get any type of money or no type of like not access resources out, like economic resources, not resources that which you're talking about. FE agents of the white man on Juneteenth. You're spelling Juneteenth wrong. You're spelling June 10th. That's what you're spelling, June 10th. You're missing another E, Shabaka, right here. I'm just helping you. I'm not clowning you. I fuck up on words all the time. It says June 10th. It's Juneteenth with an extra E at the end. So where you see that first E with the E in it, you put another E before you put another N, before you put the N. So it's Juneteenth, like Juneteenth, like a teen. Juneteenth, yes. I'm just helping you, man, because you did it so many times, and I know you old as fuck. So yeah, Shabaka. I mean, Chewbacca, get off FBA nuts. That's your T-shirt, yeah. Trademark statement. I am just being personally honest. Yeah. That should be my. Yeah, that should be my trademark. I am just being personally honest. That should be a podcast. I'm being that. What was it? Personally honest podcast. That's what it should be. Good bullshit. Those festivals are beautiful. No, I'm not saying that the Jamaican, was it the Caribbean and the African festivals is not beautiful. It's fucking dangerous. I'd rather go to Nigeria than to go to fucking one of those fucking events. At least we got the American embassy to get the fuck out of Nigeria. But you can't get out of them gunshots that they be Shabaka. I'm gonna tell you this. I love the Caribbean festival. I have so much fun. I eat so much of that Caribbean food. I see so many Jamaican, Haitian, Trinidadian, Saint Lucians, not Argentinians, Dominicans, I forgot the one with the A in it. I see so many Caribbean beautiful women, Shabaka. And yo, when I used to bring them back home and like yo beat their guts out, man, it was amazing. But I will never go there again. There's too many shootings, man. Niggas be looking for their enemies. It's just it is what it is. And I'm talking about Boston. I don't know what y'all niggas do in New York. Your New York must be even more crazy because there's more people and y'all have problems with each other because the way how y'all talk to each other. But yeah, I love the Caribbean festival. It's just too much. African festival. I never been to an African festival. If they have one, Shabaka, if they have one in Massachusetts, please let me know. I will go. I'll live chat it. I'll live chat the African festival. So you know me, I'm not biased. It's not that I don't like Africans. It's just I don't deal with bullshit, Shabaka. So come on, let's not do that. Oh, good bullshit, yada yada yada. English is not our language. Of course, it's Shabaka. This is why you know what you have to say American English, Shabaka, because if you say that to an African, they'll tell you you're not even speaking English. You're talking American English. So yeah, you got to talk to your fucking people, Shabaka. You got to be on the same lane as your people. Vlad's a Fed. Probably with white people. Let me tell you something. Any type of interview with white folks and stuff like that, I'm very cautious. And the reason why, because they will call the police on you. They don't go by the same rule. If any person I would be comfortable with that is white is probably Italian. That's it. Not even Irish, Italian. So yeah. Let's see. The Bloods of Flares of the Eastern Europeans are the Black Sea Gang. They are Ghanaians, Black Sea fishermen. Blacks in America are Africans. Shabaka, everybody's an African, even white people. White people aren't Africans. And Shabaka, what is the unfunny xenophobic shit I'm saying? I joke around, talk about yeah, y'all eat monkey meat, nigga. I'm just joking. I like Shabaka. You act like yo, like I be like looking to target. I don't target Africans. I don't target Caribbeans or Latinos. These are conversations that we are having, Shabaka. Like you got to stop being so serious when y'all not even serious. You got to stop being so fucking sensitive when you're on my shows, man. Like, come on, and this is where I have a problem with YouTube is because if if um if I'm having a conversations with you, my friend, if I'm having a conversation with you, I do not want to hear, oh, you're xenophobic and shit like that. This is why I said before, I was like, yo, everybody's talking about unity now, but where was unity in the 90s? Where was unity in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s? There wasn't no unity. So why are we talking about unity right now? That's just my issue. Why are we talking about unity right now when we should have had unity years ago? We should have had unity years ago. You know? That's why I said this is where my issues come in with y'all. You know? Can it be fixed? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But, you know, and if I didn't say what's up to y'all because y'all I didn't see it yet, it's because I'm going down the live chat, everybody. Alexander the Great discovered how to make iron weapons because yeah, I believe that about Alexander. And Alexander the Great was a freak too. He liked boys. Funny how the people of Benin didn't invent bellows. Yeah. Um One thing I will say about Benin, Kingdom of Benin, is that they had this resources that helped build the Great Wall of China. So yeah, it was the bronze. even though we look at bronze as it's not really important, it's not no gold or silver. Bronze is very important to the world. So shout out. And they had a Kingdom of Benin had a dope ass military where their military pushed back and killed a lot of um Nigerians and Brits because they try to infiltrate and take their land, in the late 1890s. So yeah, I will say that about Benin. Give me a second, everybody. These Cape Verdeans is bugging out, huh? Oh, he was always talking about. But yeah, yeah, it'd be like that though. Yeah, Kingdom of Benin, yo, they got busy in the late 18. Like I think that was the last country to get colonized in Africa, and the Nigerians turned on Benin. They all used to, Benin, Togo, Nigeria. They used to be all one country, well, colony. And the Nigerians turned on them. That's why if you ever looked up in Nigeria, there's a Benin city. Benin, where they got Wakanda from, was from Kingdom of Benin because they were so civilized. I mean, and they had a dope ass military. People still study their military from this day. It's like him and Sun Tzu, the Oba. I think they call it the Oba tribe or some shit like that. Yeah. There's no whites and black people. People are named from the land they are from. There's no black land or white land. We are Africans and Europeans, not blacks or white. I wouldn't say that they're Europeans because don't forget, they just got that country. They just got that continent like probably 700 years ago. Shabaka. So the real European were Moors, you know. What's going on, DJ? Big salute, player. Glad to see you, man. Let me see what you said. Pan African is witchcraft. I'm gonna put this up there because actually, I actually like what you said. Pan African, Pan African is witchcraft, the manipulation the of the mind and deception of control in America with the replacement and erasure of Black America FBA by Africanizing and Pan Africanizing everything. Mm. That's a good statement, DJ Biggs. Shout out to you, man. I'm glad to see you, man. Africans and Caribbeans are coming together against Black American culture under the false unity umbrella to steal everything Black American. They've been DJ what you said right here. They've been doing that already. They've been doing that shit since I think the late 90s. Yeah. I think they have been doing that. You're right, but I think they have been doing that since the late 90s. Yes. And that's because of Pan Africanism. America is surrounded, it's surrender. Is it surrender? I think you were supposed to say surrendering yeah, surrendering. You missed another R, Shabaka. And I'm not the best one with, punctuations and shit like that and spelling. But if I can find it, I'll let you know. I fucked up too all the time. If you tell me, I'll be like, thanks. We are the ones who brought Juneteenth. See, yeah, you are right. Dorsey. They are trying to Dorsey and Dr. Biggs. They are trying to steal Juneteenth. Uh, those festivals are safer than Black American festivals. No drive by. What festival? Shabaka. That's not true. Black Americans barely have festivals. The only festival we damn near have is probably what? Juneteenth. That's it. We have cookouts, you know. Yeah. Those festivals are safer than Black Americans festivals. I already read that. DJ Biz, come and spit facts. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Dorsey. He's right about you. Right about that. He is spitting facts today. Well, he always spits facts. So yeah. Um, we are speaking English, American English. Dorsey. So I mean, Shabaka. It's called American English. Ask an African. They'll tell you that Americans speak American English because it's not the Queen's language. And don't forget, we added on extra words because of the black man and the black woman. So yeah, if they had learned how to forge steel, they would be the rulers of the known world. Oh, yeah, shit, that's where I would. I wouldn't tell you what I would do. They had Caribbean Juneteenth, freedom, or even Pan African. Yeah, New York is always disrespectful when it comes to Black Americans. They have always been that way ever since the Caribbeans and the Latinos got to America. It's just it is what it is. I'm not surprised, DJ Biggs, about what they be doing in Harlem. Them Pan African flags is trash. I'm gonna be personally honest. It's ass juice. You know. Oh shit. Hey, yeah, I might have a little special thing to show y'all too about everybody's favorite person, Kwame. Uh, Bronze. Remember I mentioned the mayor? Yeah, who was the CIA play? Yeah, you did mention that. I will look him up a little bit later. I totally forgot, man. I apologize. You speak like brainwashed black coons. Shabaka, do you speak any African language fluently? Of course not. So the Essence Festival wasn't safe. Uh, the Essence Festival was Africanized. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, EU Euro. Shout out to you, player. This is my first time, I believe, seeing you. So shout out to you. They got to New York and thought that the status immigrants was a bad joke. Yeah, and like to me, if you like, I'm gonna say this, Dorsey. If you want, like, if you want to do the immigrant thing, and what I mean by the immigrant thing, you want to shout out and have this immigrant pride. I don't have a problem with that. I have never have a problem with that because you are from where you're from, But when a Black American do it, you cannot be mad. And I always explained to this girl, I said, "You say you're African, right?" She said, "Yeah." I'm talking about this girl at my job. She said, "Yeah, I'm African." She's like, "Yeah, I'm African." I said, "So why don't you call yourself Afro Latina? Why are you calling yourself a Latina?" Ah, you don't get it. You don't get it. Oh, okay. I don't get it. My fault. Sorry. You can elaborate. um, Shabaka. A lot of African Caribbeans, they don't support Africans. They actually don't like Africans, the Caribbeans. Go to Europe, you know? And I hope they solve that problem. It's just you can't come on my show and try to beat down on black Americans because we don't support, Africa. Like I say, I support Africa. I'm just not gonna help. Why the fuck should I help? Why the fuck should I help? So but thank you, Il Euro, for saying that because I totally forgot about the essence. You're right about that. The Freaknik convention, when they had the Freaknik convention, everybody was dancing. There wasn't that many shootings. Were there shootings? There was A few, you know. Give me a second, players. But I'm gonna say, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the live chat. Um, comment in the live chat, and the only way you can comment in the live chat right now, because I'm closing it, and only way you can comment in the live chat is if you're a subscriber. So definitely subscribe. It helps my channel, move up in the subscriber and be monetized. So that's what my goal is this year, is to monetize this brand. Um, I do have an announcement. I'm thinking about selling T-shirts of the Bronze Reaper podcast on it. I'm gonna have two logos, and like I said, every other show every other holiday I will have a holiday brand, and sooner or later I will do deals too. So no worries, you know. Give me a second, everyone. I apologize. Okay, yeah. Now you have to be a subscriber to be in a live chat. So subscribe. And also, if you could do me a favor, share this as well. Share to 5 people and or 5 platforms, or you could just mix it up where it equals 5. So you can do 3 platforms and 2 people, 2 people and 3 platforms. 3 people and 2 platforms. Either or. So it helps me, and I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, let's get into the hold on, let's see. We speak English. English is, yeah, but Shabaka, we speak American English. There is a difference. We don't be running around here talking about we need to use the loo or calling women tarts or saying butter. We say butter. They say butter, a water, so that was a pipeline to the illegal immigrants. Yeah, that's true, Dorsey. It was a pipeline. But let's jump into the topics today. I have a few videos that we're gonna be watching and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. Let me just get started. And I'm sorry I'm having a quick show today. I just wanted to see how y'all was doing and stuff like that as well. But I will be doing some t-shirts and shirts and stuff. Definitely. I'll keep you up to notice. I'll keep you up and informed about the t-shirts and give you notices of what's going on. So yeah, give me a second.
Did you know that white people created Pan?
Give me a second, everybody. Give me a second, everybody. Because you can't see the picture, so this is why I'm like closing it and open it again.
What happens when a person was Pan?
All right, we're gonna go to Oseju Jackson show, and we're gonna see what he said about this guy who was a Pan African, and he's just a Black American or a foundational Black American or whatever people's just bring a drum and Mother Africa called. Okay.
What happens when a person was Pan African and then they come back and only focus on Black American issues? Can it happen?
That's Philly, everybody.
Many of you guys have seen this particular couple from Philadelphia called the Unapologetic Nomads. It's a husband and wife, and I believe they have a teenage or a grown adult daughter. And when I first saw them, they were living in Rwanda. They went across the continent living South Africa. Sometimes they were in Dubai, Malaysia, places like that. But the majority of their time, they were in the continent, and also Tanzania. But the brother has moved back to Philadelphia, and he made a video called "Would I Ever Move Back to Africa?" And this video was pretty good. He had some very...
Now, Shabaka, you should pay attention to this because you're talking about moving to Africa. What you gotta watch is the do's and don'ts, man. I'm not trying to tell you not to move to Africa, but watch the do's and don'ts. If you're an immigrant, you are an immigrant to Africa, so definitely you gotta know what's happening in Africa.
interesting things to say about his journey.
Being out here, I see why America is it's like the promised land to a lot of people who are from different countries. I could see why.
The first thing he talks about is he understands that Philadelphia and the wider United States is definitely a promised land for other people. Sometimes when you grow up in an environment or a black city like Philadelphia, or even a place like Sacramento, which has black pockets, you don't realize that people think that what you got is a lot, even if you don't value it. But then...
Now, before, I didn't pay attention to it. Before I left and lived abroad, I didn't pay attention to that side of America. I was just very focused on myself. And now I'm seeing like all of these different businesses from people from different countries that's here. I mean, buying up a lot of businesses.
The most important thing that he found out is that he didn't see the value in his community, but he did notice that other people saw it. And now this means that other people were coming in, Asians and other groups, buying up black real estate, buying up black businesses. And of course, sometimes you got to get a little bit older to understand how ecosystems work, to understand how black economics work. He understands it now from a different perspective. And largely that is because when he was living in Africa, he was covering a lot of territory. I don't know the brother personally, but what I can almost figure out is that living from country to country to country, it might have been very difficult for him to be stable. Like if you live in Rwanda, Rwanda operates different than Tanzania. Tanzania operates different than South Africa, and that operates different in Dubai. So he was trying to figure out so many different places, and just because you're in Africa, African countries operate totally different. And so it was hard for him to penetrate a local sector and amplify it. But what is he not saying though? What he's saying is, I've given up my leverage as a black American to come over to a place that I really just fundamentally did not understand. And this is what a lot of us find out once we come here. I won't say that it's illogical, but a lot of times it's unattainable. There's so many inputs that you need to do well on the continent of Africa. And a lot of times as black Americans, we focus on the history of white supremacy, racism, and no opportunities and things like that. But now once you come over to Africa, or the continent of Africa, you are a foreigner. You are a resident. You got to have visas. You got to have work permits, okay? And if you don't have consistent income, then guess what? You just ended up leaving the greatest place in the world to come over to a place in which you may find yourself struggling. If you look at the city of Philadelphia, for example, you got the community college system, you know, you got constant internet, you got jobs, you got all kind of training opportunities to scale in anything. You got a big financial district in Philadelphia. You have all of those things. And then of course, if you got a son or daughter, you have certain HBCUs there in Pennsylvania. You got Lincoln, you got Cheney, you know, you got the whole HBCU network. The black American ecosystem, there is nothing in the world like it. From the SWAC schools, the Alcorn States, the Southerns, the Gramblin's, to the MEAC schools, the Delaware State, the Howards, the Morgan States, all of that is so much leverage that you can compound in black talent. When you come here, you're literally starting over from scratch and then building the community over from scratch in places that meritocracy is not always there. So ultimately, you traded your leverage for something that you just don't understand, and it hits differently when you kind of wake up and realize it. He would continue.
Now, my whole mission out here is just to promote black businesses, family, especially black American businesses, because we need that as a people, man. You know, it's like, and a lot of people don't see it, but it's like we're losing a lot of, the things we had.
He says his new mission is to promote black business. It's not to promote Pan-Africanism. This doesn't mean he dislikes Africa or his time in Africa, but it operated for him as a learning experience because he understood that building up black businesses in Philadelphia or in the United States was a lot easier than building a business on the continent of Africa. He understands that we have the possibility of being a permanent underclass in America, and he would like to stop that. But at first he wasn't thinking like that. What is he not saying though? I honestly believe that if his dream would have worked out in Africa, he would have felt very differently about what he feels right now. And to be honest, if I wouldn't have had this level of success,
I'll say this. I kind of agree with O'Shea, and the reason why I say I agree with O'Shea, and you have to question that, is, let's say what he has done has worked. Would you think he'll be brutally honest, or would you think he would be like the Africans, where he'd be like, "Oh, yo, you just gotta work hard. You know, you lazy. You know, you're lazy. You don't want to work. You know, blase, blase, blah. All this. The shit that they do say about Black Americans. What if Black Americans would have made it in Africa and use the same talking points that they talk about us in America? That's what you have to think. That's how I would think. So this guy from Philly is making a great point. He's making a great point, and I think O'Shea's making a great point too. Even though O'Shea is questioning why he is saying that, and that's a great thing that O'Shea is doing that. Because O'Shea is Pan-African, but O'Shea gives you another broader explanation for Pan-Africanism. When I say explanation, is the reason why a lot of people are Pan-Africans, or the reason why a lot of people aren't Pan-Africans. So shout out to O'Shea with that. Oh, sorry. Jesus Christ. Sorry, everybody. I'm using like two screens. This is why.
On the internet, I'm probably going to be honest with you. There's no way that I would still likely be here because, in my honest opinion, nothing can beat the ecosystem of Black America. Don't get me wrong. There are some great opportunities in Uganda. There are some great opportunities in Kenya for sure, and in Africa as a whole. But you really need to be able to understand those opportunities. And it could take you years to understand it. Again, remember I told you I had this guy on my podcast. I don't even want to mention his name, but he was an F-boy. And he was supposed to be introducing me to all of these opportunities, but he was scamming me, right? Now, if that would have worked out a little bit better as a person that I trusted, it could have made me feel a lot better about being here. And the people are nice, but that's the reality. And that goes to the next point.
Not give up. You know what I mean? And to actually promote our businesses and have our businesses thrive and compete with these other businesses out here. Because we need that. We don't want to be no permanent underclass, family. That's one thing we don't want to do, is be a permanent underclass in our own country. This is the only country we know.
He focuses on, this is the only country that we know. This is a guy, him and his lovely family, they were in Africa for what, 10 years? But he comes back to understanding this is what we know. Now, I want to just give a shout out to certain countries that are doing an excellent job. I got one of my friends here in Uganda. They have recently got citizenship in Benin. He lives in Sacramento still. He don't even live in Africa. He was able to get it for nothing. Sierra Leone, Ghana, doing excellent stuff. But still, even if I were to get my citizenship in Uganda, it's something that I don't know. I will never fully know it. But if you put me in St. Louis, if you put me in Detroit, if you put me in Atlanta, I don't necessarily have to know Atlanta, but I know our people and I fit right in right away. And I understand how to add value. For him, it seems like he tried to add value here on the continent and all was lost. He's not trying to say that because he doesn't want to be rude, but picking apart what he's not saying, that is what he's saying. He is saying that I didn't understand. Me and my wife didn't understand, or we were led astray to believe something that was not there. And for whatever reason, we are disappointed. So do not make the same mistakes that we made, because you should focus on what you have right here. If we would have focused on that 10 years ago, we would be further than we are right now. And then
there's a lot of people coming here scamming, family. You know, there's a lot of people scamming and doing stuff like that. And it's actually a scam culture in a lot of these countries. You know what I mean? A lot of these countries have a scam culture where it's cool to scam to them. You know what I mean? Like they grow up where like getting people or getting over on people is just something that is taught. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. Because I've talked to people who even said this.
so this whole idea of scamming, and again, you know, this can happen in many different places. I've seen, you know, the element of scamming happening in other countries. So I won't just say this happens specifically in Africa, but when it happens to you in Africa, you're going to tie it to the country, believe it or not. Same thing would happen to the former person in my podcast that was scamming me, that was lying to me, that was taking advantage of me.
I'll say this: when you see people scamming you in Africa, you think it's a culture. You know, and the reason why is because a lot of Africans don't talk about it. And the thing about it, and what we find out in life is, if you do not talk about it, if you do not say anything or warn anybody that you are a part of it. This is why I always tell people all the time. People always, and white supremacists always, or regular white people, be like, oh, whoa, you know, my family wasn't a part of the slave trade. My family didn't treat black people that way. And you be like, well, shit, your family didn't do nothing either. You know, so you're kind of a participant too, because you didn't do anything. You watch, you let it happen. You know, so yeah.
The same person that got his best friend fired from his job because after they scammed me, it came out there, and he got his other manager fired. That same guy scammed me. Okay? So what happens is, when you go through that experience, you got to be mature to say, oh, well, it was just this person. No, most people will look at it as, oh, this person is from Uganda, therefore let me throw the entire Uganda under the bus. This is not the strategic or the mature way to go about this. We're going to be honest. Immature thinkers can do this. And when times get hard, I can go through this process, even though it's not true. You can tie up your experiences.
Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody.
And then say Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, whatever. But that's what people are going to think. And so you almost justify why you should go home because of somebody you trusted, or because you're going through some bad things in the country. And then it's like, oh, you know what? I don't even want to meet anybody else like that, because they're all like that. And this is not largely true. You still got to be positive and still have good experiences. But this is something that is important, and it must be discussed. And then,
but even with all that peace, with all of that, the vibe You know, I love it, but something always pulls me back to this country because
Mm.
I feel like I can't really enjoy myself to the fullest because I know I got problems. We got problems here. I'm talking
Facts.
about as a community, not just myself. We got problems that we got to deal with here. You know what I mean? So I can't fully enjoy myself in Africa. I can enjoy myself, but I can't like 100% be like, oh, I'm free, like lift my hands up. You know what I mean? And because my people here is always constantly on my mind.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that Africa was a vibe. It was peaceful, but something kept bringing him back. You know, he wanted to come back home and build. He felt that it was largely difficult.
I want to say this. Africa is not a place to live. Africa is a vacation. Africa is a vacation. I would never go there and say, "Yeah, I want to live here forever." Absolutely not. Because I'll be a liar if I say that. You know, you see how their own people treat each other. So like, it's this is not me denigrating them. It's just me saying that like, yo, this is how they treat each other. You know, and this is this is what Pan-Africanism is. This guy, you could tell that like he loved Pan-Africanism. He was This dude was marinated in Pan-Africanism. You could just feel the vibe about that. You know, and you could tell that like he's very disappointed in saying this shit about Pan-Africanism. Like you could have just looked at his face and said, like, yo, I'm so disappointed. This is a shit that I had I have to say. Like I always tell people on the side, you think I know I call Marcus Garvey a scammer, but do you think I like being disappointed on another, melanated person of saying that like, yo, this nigga's a fucking scammer? Do you think I like saying Nigerians are fucking scammers and be careful? No, it's just this is the thing. They don't say anything when they start scamming. What they do, they make up excuses of it. They make up excuses of what certain people do. You're not supposed to be like, oh, well, you know what? Oh, that's only this person. No, you got to be like, yo, you got to be careful out here. Nigerians will never tell you be careful out there. They'll be like, yo, Nigeria is beautiful. It's way better than America, but they're in fucking America right now. This is why I always tell people all the time. I don't like beating up on Africans, but at the end of the day, I have to tell the truth. I have to tell you what's going on. And this is why a lot of people think I'm xenophobic, because I'm trying to warn Africans. I'm like, yo, y'all got to stop doing this shit. I'm not going to be that person to say, well, it's all right. Because it's not all right. This is what people look and see when people like this do shit. And Africans don't say nothing. I'm just being personally honest. When you do fucked up shit like this to Black Americans, and Black Americans has been your number one supporter for the last, 50, 60 years, probably even longer than that, and you just shit on these people, you lost your fucking mind, man. You lost your fucking mind. You shouldn't get mad when a Black American say like, yo, I'm more than just an African. I have African genetics, but actually I have more than just African genetics. Oh, DNA, was it 23andMe? Everybody's acting like that shit is the fucking the key of everything. We got to stop that. I'll be back, everybody. So watch this and I'll be right back.
How does Pan-Africanism unite the Black community? Imagine a world where people of African descent feel connected not just by shared skin color but by a common history and purpose. That's what Pan-Africanism aims to do. It is a movement that brings together Black people from Africa, the Caribbean, the Americas, and beyond. It emphasizes that despite living in different countries, they share roots and struggles. Historically, Black communities have faced slavery, colonialism, and racial discrimination. These hardships created divisions, but Pan-Africanism encourages seeing beyond borders. It reminds us that we all have a shared story of resilience and hope. This shared history helps build a sense of community and pride. The movement promotes the idea that Black people should unite politically, socially, and culturally. It inspires efforts to fight systemic racism and reclaim African heritage. Early leaders like Martin Delany and W.B. Du Bois believed that linking the struggles of African Americans with those of Africans on the continent could strengthen their fight for justice. They saw the fight for equality as part of a larger global effort. Pan-Africanism also motivated many Black Americans to get involved in activism. It helped shape civil rights movements by framing racial justice as part of a worldwide movement against oppression. This connection made the fight for equality more powerful and meaningful. The Pan-African Congresses, held in the early 20th century, provided spaces for Black leaders from different parts of the world to share ideas. They discussed unity. Imagine a world where... How does Pan-Africanism unite the Black community? Imagine a world where people of African descent feel connected not just by shared skin color but by a common history and purpose. That's what Pan-Africanism aims to do. It is a movement that brings together Black people from Africa, the Caribbean, the Americas, and beyond. It emphasizes that despite living in different countries...
I'm going to stop it right there. And the reason why I got to stop that, because I feel like if you're gonna make that that statement, I think they should have started in Africa. I don't think they should have just started in America. I think that's a cop out, and I think that it's a false advertisement that what this lady is saying. But I understand what they were trying to do.
They share roots and struggles. Historically, Black communities have faced slavery, colonialism, and racial discrimination. These hardships created divisions, but Pan-Africanism...
And the reason, this is where the Pan-Africanism throw this. Hey, what's going on, OG? Shout out to you. I think this is where I think this is where the Africans fuck up at. And it's this part right here. Let me stop it and show you.
Historically, Black communities have faced slavery, colonialism, and racial discrimination.
So they're not telling the whole story. The reason why we faced it is because Africans sold Africans. Like, we can't lie about that. Y'all, they have been doing work with Africans for the last, they've been doing work with the Africans since the 1500s. They've been using people as commodities. This is where Wall Street comes in at. The first stock was fucking Black people. That was the first probably economic stock. You know, so Africa had a lot of like that. Like I said, yeah, we can blame the white man, but we have to blame the African too, and the Arabs. We're not going to leave the Arabs out because they're the ones who influence racism. I mean, influence slavery, influence and inspired slavery. So yeah.
These hardships created divisions, but Pan-Africanism encourages seeing beyond borders. It reminds us that we all have a shared story of resilience and hope. This shared history helps build a sense of community and pride. The movement promotes the idea that Black people should unite politically, socially, and culturally. It inspires efforts to fight systemic racism and reclaim African heritage. Early leaders like Martin Delany and W.B. Du Bois believed that linking the struggles of African Americans with those of Africans on the continent could strengthen their fight for justice. They saw the fight for equality as part of a larger global effort. Pan-Africanism also motivated many Black Americans to get involved in activism. It helped shape civil rights movements by framing racial justice as part of a worldwide movement against oppression. This connection made the fight for equality more powerful and meaningful.
I got to stop it there again. Black Americans has always fought. We have always fought. Even when Pan-Africanism wasn't there, we have always fought. If anything, Shabaka, you're still spelling Juneteenth wrong. You're spelling June 10th. But yeah, they have always, Black Americans have always fought. We were the only ones who have really fought white supremacy without, getting a treaty or having a treaty. You know? So yeah.
The Pan-African Congresses, held in the early 20th century, provided spaces for Black leaders from different parts of the world to share ideas. They discussed strategies for independence, cultural revival, and political self-determination. These gatherings reinforce the idea that Black communities are stronger when they work together. Practically, Pan-Africanism encourages.
Brought us where? The first enslaved boat were Pan-African? No. The first boat was it was a European boat, but at the end of the day, who caught the slaves? Shabaka. Who sold the slaves? This is why I say you can't give that false narrative that the European went up in Africa and just started taking people. They actually done business with the Africans and the tribes. That's what happened. We know that's true.
Teaching African and African American history in schools. It promotes cultural exchanges and political cooperation among people of African descent. These efforts help create a sense of belonging and shared purpose. They also counteract the fragmentation caused by slavery and segregation. In the end, Pan-Africanism unites the Black community by fostering a collective identity rooted in shared history and culture. It calls for solidarity in fighting injustice and celebrating African heritage. This unity has played a key role in shaping Black American achievements and ongoing struggles for equality. It reminds us that together, we are stronger and can build a future rooted in pride and collective strength.
So, I would say this: the idea was dope, but we weren't Africans. The thing about it, the reason why Pan-Africanism is a bad movement is because they started off lying. Once you start off with a lie, you've just fucked your whole foundation up. Your whole foundation it's fucked up. This is why you having a lot of these Pan-African leaders talking like foundational Black Americans now. And it's sad, but and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give Dr. Umar some type of credit. The first person I ever heard of, holding your vote was Dr. Umar. I heard Dr. Umar say that first. Claude Anderson, Tariq Nasheed probably said it, and I never heard it. But the first person I ever heard say it, and the way I'm gonna go verbatim what Dr. Umar I heard say. He say, "Hold your vote hostage." That's what he said. I heard that from Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar was talking like this. This is why a lot of these Pan-Africans have a problem with Dr. Umar, because Dr. Umar don't fuck with Democrats. Is he a scammer? Yeah, he's still a scammer. But he was talking crazy like this for a very long time. He was saying hold your votes hostage. So it's this is nothing new. And this is coming from one of y'all leaders who got dual citizenship in fucking Ghana. Like, come on, we can't act like this ain't true.
Costs at least $900.
I'm gonna skip that one right now. All right, we're gonna do this one first right here.
You ain't gonna believe this. Did you know that white people created Pan-Africanism?
Whoa,
And not only
hold up. What did he just say?
You ain't gonna believe this. Did you know that white people created Pan-Africanism? And not only that, it was created to erase Black Americans' lineage, culture, and identity. I'm about to show you why Pan-Africanism is a scam and how the leaders who push it are inadvertently or advertently pushing white supremacy. But first, we got
Hold on. I'm not seeing no picture. Give me a second, everybody.
to start off with a quote from Malcolm X.
Only a fool will let his enemies teach his children.
Keep this quote in mind because that's the exact dilemma that we under. Now in school, there are objective things that are beneficial for us about your history. Because a major rule of colonization is to rewrite history to justify domination, use school, religion, and media to reshape the identity, and replace the native languages with colonizer languages. And also the goal of colonization is to control how people think about themselves and their past. See, they separate us from our parents at a very young age. We are sent to strangers, and these strangers have control over what goes inside of our minds. And we do this from the ages of 5 all the way to 18, and for a lot of people, all the way well into their 20s if they go to college. This is called indoctrination. Indoctrination is a process of teaching a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs, doctrines, and ideologies uncritically, often preventing them from questioning or considering alternative viewpoints. And indoctrination is also imposing specific ideologies in an educational setting, such as forcing one-sided views of history. This is why you'll see Pan-Africans and Afrocentric people try to attack people who have alternative views of history. Because they are in place to ensure we never wake up to our true identity. And they pretend that they are fighting white supremacy, when in reality, they are actually upholding it and selling us out for profit.
So I want y'all to ask yourself this question. The reason why I wanted to watch this video, you can't really see this video. Give me a second. Let me try to stop sharing. Give me a second, everybody. All right, yeah, I can see it now.
Call them sellouts and revolutionary clothing. These people are indoctrinated.
All right, so I want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all think Pan-Africanism is a psyop? I personally do, because as I said, why do they got a problem when Black America, like they got a problem when Black Americans want to push back on this African thing and support their people that actually didn't benefit from anything that an immigrant did when they come to this country. The idea that a lot of these immigrants come was to have solidarity. And when they got here, they went to the other side. So at the end of the day, it was a false advertisement. It was a false advertisement. And second of all, the Pan-Africans didn't say shit after this happened. So I'm going to put up a poll. Do y'all think Pan-Africanism is a psyop?
And they want to make sure you stay indoctrinated as well, which is a form of brainwashing. And this was the same thing for our great scholars in history like W.E.B. Du Bois, and even current day people like Dr. Umar Johnson. W.E.B. Du Bois was a prominent pusher of Pan-Africanism. He was the first Black American to get a PhD in Harvard University. And guess what the subject was that he got his PhD in? You guessed it, history. Not only was he indoctrinated with one-sided narrative of history, he went to the highest level of indoctrination on that subject. See, Pan-Africanism was created by white people to take black Americans off their homeland, which is America, and ship them to Africa. This is how the country of Liberia came about. And that's why the Liberian flag is similar to the American flag. And it was pushed by a racist group of people called the American Colonization Society. I'll go further in depth on them a little later. But the reason I mention them is because two white races that was a part of that organization directly funded W.E.B. Du Bois.
Oh, no.
And because our leaders are indoctrinated by these racist whites, they are brainwashed into believing a narrative about history that keeps them from understanding that America is their homeland. So they use these puppets to brainwash us. So we might see a black face teaching us, but they are teaching a colonized narrative. So now that that's understood, let's talk about the white men who created Pan-Africanism.
Oh, shit.
We'll discuss them and the black faces who helped carry out their agenda. So to understand the origins of Pan-Africanism, we have to take it all the way back to the late 1700s. There was an indigenous man by the name of Paul Cuffey. And this one man debunks every lie and narrative you was ever taught about black history. Like, for example, Paul Cuffey was a full-blooded indigenous man, but because of his skin color, he will be considered a black American today. And he was born in 1759 and passed away in 1817, which means he was alive during the time of slavery, yet he was born free and was actually a millionaire at the time. See, history like...
And I think Wampanoag is, I think that's New York. That's a New York native Indian tribe, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Likes to make it seem like all black people were slaves during this time and poor, but he was neither. Now, what does Paul Cuffey have to do with Pan-Africanism, you may ask? Everything. See, Paul Cuffey is one of the first victims of Pan-Africanism in history. He got his indigenous identity stripped from him, and over time, your favorite historians has been lying about his identity. Paul Cuffey was a Wampanoag Indian, and Wampanoag Indians was the Indians that the Pilgrims came across. You know, the Thanksgiving story. And here are historical depictions of how the Wampanoag Indians look.
Oh, no!
I mean, even one of the Indians who
I think that's New York.
Came across the Pilgrims was named the Black Sachem. And this is a picture of his granddaughter. And the reason it's so hard for you to believe is because of the massive propaganda and how they depict Indians in movies and media. Over time, we internalize these images. And also because they taught us that all dark-skinned people came from Africa, and they use the term African descent, even when people do not descend from Africa. And for you people who want to say all people originated in Africa, I got a video coming out debunking that as well. See, this is all a part of the plan to make sure black Americans never understand that they are the original people of this land. And through this video and future videos, I will be debunking the Outer Africa theory, and I will prove that all black people with woolly hair do not come from one area of the planet, but that they are the aboriginals of every area of the planet. And this is why the white men created Pan-Africanism to hide this fact. Now let's get back to Paul Cuffey, the full-blooded American Indian, and why he's so major in the Pan-Africanism paradigm. See, because Paul Cuffey was indigenous to America, the white men of that time had a problem. You can't just kick a millionaire landlord off his soil if he knows he's a Wampanoag Indian with treaty rights. So they had to rebrand him. In 1811, Paul sailed to Liverpool. That's where he met a group of white men who was a part of something called the African Institution. These white philanthropists saw Paul Cuffey's ship and realized he was a perfect test pilot for the plan to get black American Indians off their homeland and relocate them in Africa. So here's what they did. While Paul was busy trading, they was busy plotting. They was like the PR of that time. They published a book about him without his permission or his approval that minimized his Wampanoag heritage and created a fake story about his father being from Africa with no proof. But they said it because they wanted to connect him and set up a town in Sierra Leone. Till this day, there are no primary sources of Paul Cuffey's father being an African, yet all historical
Shabaka, I think you're losing the point. He's saying that he wasn't brought over from Africa. He's saying that his family has already been here, Shabaka. Does he, like, again, does he has African DNA? Absolutely. And he was probably a Moor. Most of those Moors don't think they're African. A lot of those Moors think that they were Israelites if they really tell the story. So yeah. Those Africans that you are talking about, they were called Hammonites in the Bible. You know, that's why they were saying that there were different types of people in Africa, because at the end of in those times, Israel was a part of Africa. Jerusalem was a part of Africa. So this is where things get a little bit funky for you, Shabaka.
publications are running around with this narrative. The lie got so intense, they even made up a false interpretation for the name, trying to connect it to the word Kofi, which is an African name. But his name isn't Kofi on no primary records. And it just was another way to further Africanize his identity. As you can see, there's a blatant pattern of people trying to Africanize Black Americans, even when they have proven to be indigenous, and a constant effort to try to ship us to Africa. They've been doing this back to Africa thing back then all the way till now.
Yeah.
There's even letters of the President of the United States talking about how they have a plan to get us up off this land and send us back to Africa so they can have the land for themselves. In the next part of the video, I will expose the next group of white people who are responsible for Pan-Africanism and how they connect to Paul Cuffey and actually got him to carry out their agenda. And I'll also expose other black sellouts who helped carry out this plan as well. Even current day sellouts who's currently carrying out this plan right.
Dear Bronze, this the lick. I'm just playing the video. I'm asking the question: do y'all believe it's a psyop? Don't go on with what I believe. I want to hear what y'all believe. I believe it's a psyop. This is telling you that behind every black figure in Pan-Africanism, there was a white man behind him. Whenever you seen that black face, there was a white man behind him. And W.E.B. Du Bois was half Haitian. So it's not like, there weren't immigrants over here. There wasn't black immigrants over here. There was very few, but he was half Haitian. He had dual loyalty, as they call it. Pan-Africanism is the greatest black movement in history. Pan-Africanism is a universal. Pan-Africanism. If you say so, Shabaka, I'm just saying it's. I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying. Hold on. I say there's no big example of being a psyop than being married to a Jewish woman and claiming to be one black first. St. Michael's. I don't give a fuck who you marry. And I'm gonna say this. Put it this way, St. Michael's. Only I will only think something is suspicious is if a black woman who dates you is talking like you, saying black people do this, black people do that. I'm gonna ask her, who is she married to? What is her lineage? There's a reason why these women are talking like this. So there's nothing wrong if you're staying on code. Like one of my children, I said one of my children. My children's mother is Asian, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna stay on code with my people. I'm still gonna support black love. I will always tell people, date black women first before you date anything else. But if you fall in love with another race, you fall in love with another race. He's literally told in his own blood. No, St. Michael's. Only time bloodline is tainted is if it has a black face to it. Y'all believe in pure whiteness, but most black Americans believe is if you have that black blood anymore, you're not white anymore. Like, for example, the Kardashians, they have kids mostly by black people. They had mostly kids by black people, so most of their kids is black. Do they have a white mind? Most likely they do. You know, so it's I don't get what you're trying to say, St. Michael's. As that's your people that think like that. You know?
Now,
Um let's move on to another because we're cut for time. I gotta take my kid to go get something to eat. I want to actually jump into this, and this is why I say this is a psyop because at the end of the day, these Pan Africans aren't talking to these Africans. They're giving out what dual citizenship in Ghana, but look at the shit that they're doing, everybody. This is the shit that they're doing in Ghana on Juneteenth. Watch it, watch everybody. Look it.
Somebody help! Somebody help me!
This is Ghana, everybody. This is Ghana.
Now, what do y'all think the first thing we need to discuss? Y'all, let's see if we're on the same page. In the chat.
Shabaka, I want to hear from you now. This is what's going on in Ghana. This is what they think of you, Shabaka. This is your Akata. When he said it's your people that think like that. We really say is that he has no good response in defense of folks like Tariq Nation. Shabak, St. Michael's, we don't care who you're fucking. You know, you care about where people's dick going to, you know, and you talk about homosexuality and you worry about where a man stick his dick in. Don't forget, St. Michael's, your people used to stick their dick in animals, you know, and boys and men, not only just women. You know, so you got to be careful, man. My son's mom said, yeah, my son is happy. Yeah. Thank you, Dorsey. You know, like I said, I don't see nothing wrong with that shit. You know, I personally don't see nothing wrong with it. You know, I don't know, like there's some niggas that be into the fucking slavery, racist sex and shit. I'm not into shit like that. I'll punch you in the fucking face. I don't give a fuck if you are female. But yeah, this is the shit.
What should we discuss first? Let me see if we're on the same page, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Father's Day. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Well, we talked about Carmelo. We talked about Carmelo already. I talked about that yesterday. There you go. Ghana. Yeah, Ghana. We got to talk about Ghana. Y'all already know.
Hey yo, y'all see how Shabaka just disappeared, right? Y'all see how Shabaka just disappeared. Shabaka should have knew that we were going to talk about this. Like, come on. This is what Pan Africans want us to go to. They want us to go to Ghana where they do shit like this. Where they do shit like this. Why the fuck would I want to go to Africa? This is why I always tell people, why the fuck? This is why I say Africa is the continent of Africa is a fucking a vacation. If that, you know, it's nowhere to live.
Oh, we got to talk about Ghana.
Shabaka just
Oh, my
disappeared.
goodness.
Shit.
Family, did y'all see the video I posted on my Twitter. Over in Ghana, they had some type of slavery reenactment outside of one of the slave
That nigga Shabaka
castles
just
over there. I
disappeared.
think
He's
in
like,
Accra.
oh
I
shit.
don't know if it was Elmina. I don't know. They didn't say the name, but one of them slave castles over there.
Shabaka disappeared.
They had the people
That
over there
nigga's
doing
where
the
is Waldo
ceremony,
right
and they were
now?
acting like they were being enslaved, and they were chained, and they were crawling
Fucking
on the
crazy.
ground, screaming and crying, and all this stuff. Oh boy.
Shabaka.
Yeah, they were doing this ritualistic thing. A lot of people here kind of felt the way about
Everybody, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Where is Shabaka? This is where Shabaka wanna go. He wanna go to Ghana. You got friends in Ghana, Shabaka. Was one of your friends in that fucking video? Was your friends in that video? This nigga crazy. Everybody, where is Shabaka? Yeah, he disappeared real fast. St. Michael's, where's your friend Shabaka at?
that. They were not too pleased with that. They're trying to give the impression that they're honoring the people who were enslaved. A lot of people look at it as a form of mockery, the way they were doing it. All right? It was real weird. It was real strange. And people are justified in having an issue with that performative, symbolic, gesticulating actions over there. People, they're very justified in having a reason to not feel it. One of the things I think a lot of people have an issue with is the historical hypocrisy of the so-called tribute. You know what I'm saying? The lack of historical accountability. See, the people putting on these performative theatrics, these are the descendants of the ethnic groups that captured and sold people. Oh, we're not going to forget that. They doing all of this stuff thinking we going to forget. No. We're not going to forget now. Y'all were selling people to them European buyers. Now, you were profiting off the sale of captives centuries ago. Now you're cosplaying as the captives as a so-called tribute. It just looks disingenuous. Yeah, you can't really honestly honor the people your history discarded. You understand? No, y'all not getting off the hook, man. Y'all not gonna really get off the damn hook. And you know what I think this is, man? This is a hijacking of the foundational Black American reparations momentum. As we know, foundational Black Americans, we built the modern reparations movement from the ground up. We have turned it into a legitimate, undeniable political conversation here in the United States. Now that momentum is undeniable because remember, the tethers were telling us we ain't gonna ever get nothing. We need to stop begging. Those were the same, remember, they were telling us that. Let's stop playing. About a decade ago, those same people doing all of these gestures were telling us we need to stop begging the white man and pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and we ain't gonna get nothing. They were the main ones hating on it. Now that we played past them and we got that momentum going with reparations and we've delineated, so now they can't come in our spaces misrepresenting us. Now, these theatrics look like a calculated political mover. It looks like an opportunistic attempt to basically intercept or just capitalize on that reparations momentum so they can siphon off any kind of global funding or resources and they can get it back over there to them. That's what that whole Ghana going to the UN was about. And we rejected that over here. We're like, no, no, no. Ghana does not represent us. No, no, no. Ghana doesn't represent us.
It's true,
See,
though.
they're cosplaying trauma as a tourist attraction, turning the horrors of slavery into an over-the-top, exaggerated stage play. It's a mockery of the ancestors' suffering.
Yeah.
You know, the transatlantic slave trade, you know, that was a centuries-long atrocity that they
And
took.
y'all gotta understand too, Black Americans, some of us was on the slave ship. Some of us was on that slave ship, but at the end of the day, even if we wasn't, and they came to America, they're Black Americans. So we're not gonna let you make a mockery of these people. I'm just being personally honest. I'm not gonna let you make a mockery of them, especially a motherfucker who's always asking for help and got their fucking hand out. And I'm talking about Ghana. Look how that fucking president brought his raggedy ass over here to New York. Talk about, oh yeah, trying to touch the nigga. You don't need to be touching anything with reparation because your people were a part of selling these Africans that were in Africa. And you talking about, oh yeah, you accept the nigga's apology. Nigga, you was a part of it. You was a part of it. This is why a lot of Black Americans was like, yo, we don't fuck with y'all. Y'all are not our people.
Part in, you know? So yeah, we feel a certain way about that. We feel a certain way about that. And they're monetizing it. They get money doing that. They're over there doing all that performing for tourists. And like I said, when I was over there in Senegal, when I wanted to go visit the damn slave castles and all that, they charged me double than they charged the locals. They charge foundational Black Americans more money to go over there to see that shit. Do y'all know that? If you've been over there, you know what I'm talking about. They charge us more than the locals. You know? Oh yeah. Yeah, they charge me double than they were charging the locals over there. Yeah, so they're still capitalizing. They're still capitalizing off of it. And those reenactments, I guess they're designed to trigger an emotional reaction from tourists and certain Black folks who go over there try to search for their roots. And that's kind of drying up because people are standing on lineage business over here.
Yeah.
So they want to get people to open up their wallets and all that shit. So
yeah, I as I tell people all the time, that shit is a mockery. This is why I always tell people all the time. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, my roots is in Africa. Where in Africa? When I ask, oh, Western Africa, where in Western Africa? What country? What tribe? Fuck that. You can. And I always tell them, yo, y'all can keep that bullshit. I don't want it. And I know a lot of people get mad at me when I say that. I don't want it. That shit ain't got nothing to fucking do with me. Africa has nothing to do with me. Why the fuck am I going to Africa? You know? Africa's a failed continent. I'm going to be personally honest. It's a failed continent. This is why a lot of them this is why most of those Africans get a rude awakening and say, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is why I tell y'all Pan-Africans are a Psyop. We just heard what happened. Pan-Africans was created by a white man. That's what they're saying. They're saying Pan-African was created by a white man. This motherfucker probably had some jungle fever, was fucking black women. He was like, yo, we're going to have to... This pussy's so good, I might have to fight for these bitches' rights. Fuck that. I don't want nobody touching this pussy. Yep, that's what one of the white men said. Yeah, we're going to fight for these niggas' rights.
You know, it's a little finesse. And it's a rep that was subjected to centuries of free labor and systemic terror and Jim Crow and redlining. That was us over here. framing Ghana as the target for global guilt money. That's a finesse that they want to use to erase the specific targeted lineage claims of the freedmen here. And if they really wanted to truly honor the captives, the approach would be fundamentally different. You know, but the thing is, there's a disconnect in lived lineage. A lot of the people performing this, they're acting out a history that they did not inherit. These are the descendants of the people who sold the victims of the slave trade. All right? They do not have the same lived lineage or generational trauma of chattel slavery in the Americas. You understand? So they're trying to mimic a pain that they do not inherently understand. That's why it looks weird. You know? So the performative nature of it just felt real cartoonish and over the top and ultimately very disrespectful to the people whose bloodline who survived that nonsense. You know? It's very interesting. Let me talk to the family. Let me talk to the family, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all hop on in here, ladies and gentlemen. Raise your hand. Let me get some of the family in here. What's up, Samantha Shy? Hop on in, family. Let me get on. Get folks on, and they're not. Victor, what's up, Victor? How to Philly?
Yeah. I'm falling back. I just wanted to come up and let you know I apologize for all the negative that was brought to me about you.
Now, what happened?
No, all the controversial and stuff like that. But I fell back and I was listening to you, and the more and more that I was listening to you, I was like, ain't no way in the world that these people is hating on him.
Right.
Because everything that you showed us is right and there's that. And I appreciate that. And I just want to give you your flowers and pour out a little liquor to you, etc.
Nigga getting drunk.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that, man. Thank you
This
so
nigga
much.
getting lit right
Here you
Pour the
now.
go.
rest of that liquor out could sound like you've been drinking it. All right.
Purpose.
All right. Let's pour the rest of that liquor
Nothing.
all the way out. Good Lord.
See how everybody Shabaka ran and hide, and he's like, I ain't listening to this shit. When shit like this happens, like, Shabaka don't want to hear that shit.
Before you had a shirt that had
The Olmecs on it, right?
it was a black, well, she was a black Statue of Liberty
Oh,
shirt.
yeah.
I love that shirt.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. We still might have some of those at the office. So email me and I'll see what's up with that. We still might have some of them left. But yeah, that was over a decade ago. Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Father's Day. All right. Magnitude. Let's get Magnitude TV. Magnitude.
Flex, what's up, Captain?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Can you hear me? What's up with the homie on there? He sounded like he was drinking a little something. He all
Oh
right?
yeah. He had a little night train. He was getting him a little sip for the weekend, enjoying his weekend. How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. Always good to tap in with you, man. You know, FBA actually tapping in from Delaware, man. And I just wanted to, always tap in with you and show my appreciation. Actually, just recently opened an event space, reopened an event space and a co-working space. Trying to follow in those traditional FBA footsteps of, enterprising and entrepreneurship. And I just wanted
to look at these people just like any other group trying to profit off our struggle. That's all it is, unfortunately. Like they don't identify with our struggle. They don't see it. They just see it as another opportunity to make some money. Unfortunately. It's especially like you mentioned the reparations thing that they're trying to grift on. It's not a general grievance, right?
Yeah.
It's a specific, hey, our group, we put billions of
Facts,
hours, almost
Dorsey.
trillions of hours in the free slave labor that y'all extracted. We want that money back. It's not y'all mistreated us, give us some money. That's something completely different. We talking specifically practicality. Y'all got this amount of hours from us extracted as slaves. It's time for y'all to pay that back. That's all it is. So these other groups trying to latch on, I get it, but unfortunately we got to look at them like any other group trying to profit off what we got going on. That's all I really got to say.
No doubt. Thank you so much, brother. Miss, what's your name? Dara?
Durasco. It's just my initials and my last name. But what's up? Proud FBA here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted to ask you something because I've been following you for years now,
Yes,
and I've learned a ton, and opinions to basically, muddy the waters and form like Voltron against us. And am I mistaken, or because I know I'm kind of new to this, but
And all of these tethers and sending all of these agent provocateurs in all of our spaces to undermine us. We've done events. The Democrats have sent these feds and these Democrats for that. Mr. Groon does what the hell she ain't gonna do for black people. And we said, okay, all right, well, say less.
All right, so we got through that. Now I think Tariq Nasheed said something very important. It's Pan-Africanism with the Democrats. I think that's important to ask. Well, we're gonna watch this video right here. We're gonna watch half of it. We ain't gonna watch all of it.
These are some of the questions that I want to ask. Does Pan-Africanism benefit us? Has it ever benefited Black Americans? Is Pan-Africanism a democratic ploy? Meaning, is the Democratic Party using things like the relocating to Ghana? What is it called? The right to abode. That's what it's called. The right to abode, relocating to Ghana. Is all of that stuff a democratic ploy? Or is Pan-Africanism sincere with its messaging and what its intent is? And understand that Pan-Africanism is just an ideology, okay? It's not like a lineage, like FBA is a lineage, okay? It's an ideology. Growing up, I pretty much been a Pan-African all my life. My father was a Pan-African as well. A lot of the things that we used to discuss as Pan-Africans is, one, we would discuss a flat blackness, so to speak, right? Like all black people, we're all black, we're all one. All throughout the diaspora, the Black Americans, the Black Caribbeans, the Black Africans, the Black Latinos. From my dealings in Pan-Africanism, that was my understanding that we're all one Black entity. We're all one human being. We're all one. The flat blackness theory, right? Also, what we used to discuss as Pan-African, building in Africa, investing, starting businesses, buying land, stuff like that. So that was always what Pan-Africanism meant to me. Another thing that we
you talking in circles, man. Come on.
Finley, okay? Other key members included people like Francis Scott Key. We all know who Francis Scott Key is. He wrote the Star Spangled Banner. Had racial biases, okay? He felt that they were a bit racist.
Well, we're not gonna go into that. This lady right here, she's real good. This African lady, shout out to her. She's really good. Sometimes I don't disagree. I disagree. Sometimes I disagree with her, but I still like the content. So yeah, definitely shout out to her.
These are people whose beliefs and ideologies are detrimental to the African child. I'm talking here about a group of Pan-Africanists who like to act very wise and poetic when their speeches are poison to the masses that listen to them.
South Africa is registered in America as a private company. Okay?
What?
Yes. It's not a country, it's a business. You can Google now on New York Stock Exchange. South Africa is registered there as a private company, which has directors and shareholders, not the South Africans. And I'm sorry, many South Africans will hear this and be shocked they are to their boots. But it's a fact. It's a fact in which it can no longer be hidden anymore that the Reserve Bank is in private hands. The government is in private hands. Land is in private hands. Businesses are in private hands. The common South African now thinks that a fellow Zimbabwean or Mozambican is an enemy. They have not gone to school. They don't understand the scope and the nature of the monster which they're dealing with.
Unfortunately, Africa has been a victim to these intellectuals for a very, very long time. Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. Please subscribe and follow, like, share, and repost. #SmartVoters, #Citizen Concerned. A lot of black people have fallen victim to these intellectuals. These are people who see victimhood in everything surrounding black people. They never tell the African that in today's world, his chances have increased. He can do and be anything he wants. No, they tell him you will never succeed because of the white men. We see these African intellectuals all over. There are a couple of channels right on YouTube whose sole mission is to elevate these intellectuals and spread their message. You find YouTube channels that are all about Africa versus the West, black versus white, a hostile attitude that encourages Africans to primarily blame all their failures on the West, take no accountability for Africa's role in everything, and take no lesson from the West. In these messages, the crimes of the West are highlighted and presented to look like the West wants Africans dead. These YouTube channels are a big part of the problem. These African intellectuals include the beloved Professor Patrick Lumumba, who I actually used to like a lot, and even shared his videos before I started to realize that most of his beliefs are poisonous to the youth. People like...
Oh, shit. This is an African saying this. A lot, like I said, I agree with her. This is why I said some stuff I do agree with her, some stuff I don't. But at the end of the day, I do respect the content that she does. And this is very important to hear that a lot of this shit is poisonous. And we're looking at it right now in 4K.
Robert Mugabe, Julius Malema, Kwame Nkrumah, Joshua Maponga, just to name a few. The more you listen to these people, the more you start to believe that you as a black person are a poor skepsel who should blame white people for your poverty, and all your actions should be inspired by that blame. These leaders could have been using their voice and influence to address the weakness and failings of African governments. They could have been using their voice and influence to help you see that the governments are the reason why poverty is increasing in Africa. But instead, they fail to see or choose to ignore how socialism has affected black people. They ignore how poor education standards are keeping us down. They ignore how poor governments and corruption have destroyed Africa. The majority of their talk is on blaming colonialism, neo-colonialism, capitalism, and white people, all while encouraging the African masses to prefer Chinese and Russian partnerships and, of course, to prefer socialism. These people are only good at talking in ways that touch the emotions of black people, while failing to provide sustainable solutions to the same people. These are people who leave most facts unspoken while they elevate the details that they like above everything else, details that solidify their narratives. One common trait you can always be sure you'll find among these people is a type of qualifications and degrees they hold. Their education rarely covers key things that are needed to successfully run and develop a country. I know that some of you hold these degrees and might get offended, but I have to say it. These Pan-African intellectuals like to speak on economic issues, trade, and money matters with great confidence and authority as if they are qualified to speak on the matters. But a look at their actual qualifications says something else. What informs their logic and reasoning is an old, outdated belief that there is a group of
I think this lady's Kenyan too, and she's beautiful. She's a beautiful African, definitely. And that's if you're into, like, girls with their hair cut short and stuff like that. I think she's beautiful. I think she's like Kenyan, Nigerian. I'm getting Kenyan out of her, but doesn't matter. She's still beautiful though. And like, this is why I always say if a girl's beautiful or not and stuff like that, because to me it just doesn't matter like what they are. I get where people do say. I do get when they say, "Oh well, you know what? Blase blase this, blase blase that, all that other cool shit." It's understandable. But yeah.
white people that are working tirelessly with one mission in mind: to keep the African child poor. These people who have studied humanities, philosophy, and languages are the ones who are telling us how economies should work. People who are probably not naturally inclined to be allowed into or excel in a science or economics class. They are now the ones who are telling us all what the economy should be like. Tell me, would you allow someone who studied business management to tell you how to perform a brain surgery simply because they speak with great confidence and authority on the matter? No, you would not risk that. You want a person who studied medicine, a qualified and experienced neurosurgeon to operate on your brain. Why have we then become comfortable with entrusting matters of our national and continental economies to people that have studied divinity, English literature, history, law, human science, or social development? Instead of focusing on what they studied and qualified for, they are focusing on economics and trade. Imagine that. A theologian and a philosopher telling you how the economy should work. Professor Lumumba holds LLB and LLM degrees. He is a lawyer. Former President Kwame Nkrumah had a Bachelor of Theology degree, a Master of Arts degree in Philosophy, and a Master of Science in Education. EFF leader Julius Malema has a Bachelor of Arts in Communications and African Languages and an Honours degree in Philosophy. Former President Robert Mugabe had a Bachelor of Arts degree in History and English. President Cyril Ramaphosa has a bachelor's degree in law. While we acknowledge that these Pan-African intellectuals have studied and are qualified and what they studied is useful and meaningful, are these the qualifications we need from people who are to lead Africa to economic green pastures? I don't think so. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Apart from what I think, history too speaks volumes on these leaders' ability to lead us to economic success. In my opinion, to lead Africa to economic prosperity, we need leaders who value.
Yeah, we might have to do a topic question. Are Africans turning on the Pan-African movement? We might have to actually do that. Tomorrow I might take off because I'm trying to get into doing marketing and stuff as well. Marketing and trying to find sponsors for the short film. So definitely, I think I'm gonna be doing that on Tuesdays. So yeah, we're gonna go to the last one. It's short, but yeah.
The threat to Black Americans. What I mean by Black Americans, I'm speaking of the descendants of emancipated people. There's a certain segment of Pan-Africans that is cool with this woman threatening us to BOMB us as Black Americans. Now, she might have mentioned FBA, but a lot of people don't use FBA to describe themselves, in the United States. Now, and it's cool. But for the ones that do, salute to y'all. But you'll have Pan-Africans sit up here and take up for this woman. Now, I was on my brother Foundational American page on his live yesterday, and he had a Pan-African on there calling us all types of names, threatening us, saying threatening things, taking up for these Africans that be xenophobic to us also. See, one thing about these Pan-Africans, some of them, they will never call out these Africans or some of these other melanated groups that come at us sideways. They never did.
Let me tell y'all something. A lot of these Africans and other melanated people that come to this country, they always been hostile towards black Americans, right? And Pan-Africans just sat there and just let them do it. Just agreed with them. Pan-Africans' excuse is, well, this the white man land. We don't have no rights here in
Shabaka.
America and F American, blah, 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 blah. So in the midst of them saying F America, they saying F black Americans. You don't never see no Pan-Africans taking up for black Americans unless the black Americans are Pan-African. These people are dangerous. Let me say that again. These people are dangerous to black Americans. And they need to be studied. Now, I'm not one of these black people that won't put cases on people, but us as black Americans, we do need to keep an eye on some of these Pan-Africans.
Yep.
Because some of these Pan-Africans, these black American Pan-Africans are sleeper cells.
Mm-hmm.
See, they hide behind.
I'm gonna say this: a lot of these Black American Pan Africans are waking up. They're waking up because at the end of the day, they understand that they're not getting anything for their worth.
The guys of what? African. We want to go back to Africa. We need to link up with our brothers and sisters in Africa. We need to help Africa. We are African. But in the midst of all that, they have a disdain and hatred for black Americans. They don't agree with their ideology. See, I'm one of these people right here. I can disagree with you, but I don't wish no harm on you. Black Americans never threatened Africans, never done any harm to Africans. They were white people. Why the Africans not channeling they hate, channeling all this negative spirits towards the white folks? Because you know why? Because they scared of white folks.
Yeah.
They scared of them. So it's easy to come at the black American. But guess what? This is a new day and age, and we ain't standing for this shit no more. And I want y'all to keep an eye on these Pan-Africans, man. Keep an eye on some of these Pan-Africans, because there's a sect of these Pan-Africans that's enjoying seeing Africans come at black Americans disrespectfully. And when we clap back at these Africans, we in the wrong. These Pan-Africans want us to absorb the abuse from these Africans. They want us to accept diaspora abuse. Why should we accept diaspora abuse from some third world people? That's what I don't get. Why? Why they want us to do that? These people got common sense. They know what they doing. These people come from countries where they war with each other. These people come from countries where they hate somebody they hate a whole tribe that's 500 feet away from them. What you think they'll do to us? But keep y'all eyes on these Pan-Africans, though. Real talk. Man, you should know places king. You know, I know what's going on in your homeland right now.
Don't forget, man. The Hebrew Israelites went to Kenya and told them niggas that Jesus Christ was black. Them niggas damn near got stoned to death. They damn near got stoned to death, man. I'm gonna land here. And it's early. I apologize. We usually do another hour, but I had to pick up my little my son, my little kiddos. But let me land. I want to say thank y'all for watching and stuff, but I want to say a lot of these Pan-Africans are dangerous. Don't forget who's backing them up, the Democrats. The Democrats been on our back bumper since Kamala. When they say, "Oh yeah," remember when it first started? They were like, "Oh yeah, Black Americans, we don't need you. You know, we don't need you to vote and stuff like that." Yada yada yada. Then once it happened and they lost by a Kamala caught an ass whooping of the century. You know, so and she hasn't recovered ever since that. She been drinking. She had the little drinking video with the kid and stuff like that. And I didn't see nothing wrong with it. As long as the kid okay and stuff like that, she could have a little drinky drink. But, you know, she just didn't take it well. You know, and I understand, man, if you're sore losers, those are the best leaders, is the sore losers. Because you hate to lose. Who likes a cool winner? I mean a cool loser. No, fuck that. I'm a sore loser myself. But yeah, these Pan Africans is dangerous. They support the Democrats. It was created by a white person. I found out today. You know, I just did research with y'all, and we gotta accept that. But I want to thank everybody who was on the show today. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna give my shout outs right now. And let me close the we got a big 14 view shout out, and the ending polls is closed now, and every 14 was it 91% said that Pan-Africanism is a fucking psyop. Everybody's starting to believe it now. So y'all gotta get y'all Pan Africans gotta get y'all shit together. Y'all gonna be with Black Americans, gonna stand down, stand 10 toes down with Black Americans or not. You gotta be honest of what you're gonna do. But I'm gonna give my shout outs. Shout out to Dorsey, Shabaka, Ray FBA, DJ Biggs, glad to see you again. FBA Convo, Crocs. It's always a good time. Good. It's always a good time seeing you. I hope the family is good. Miss Charlie Shaw, lovely seeing you as well. Fresh always. Shout out, good seeing you. This is the first time I'm seeing you, Euro. I don't know if you changed your name, but shout out to you, player. Gullery. So we always have great conversations. St. Michael's, thanks for trolling. I want to thank everybody for being on this show, and y'all have a great day. And I'll see you Wednesday because I'm doing marketing tomorrow. So take care.